Hey everybody, hope you guys are doing great. And man, do I miss hockey. And I'm sure you guys do too as well. And you probably had a great first maybe 3 to 4 weeks, and now you're kind of itching to get back in there. And I did get on the NHL network the other day and saw that Bettman is looking at getting the season finished up with the playoff, and saw that the Coyotes would be lined up with Nashville. So I was kind of excited about that. So definitely going to be praying for the Yotes, and if any of the players that are getting this or going to get this, you guys can definitely call me if you guys need any prayer. Um, Absolutely, you guys know my number. And if someone doesn't, just give them it. I don't mind that at all. So anyway, I'm gonna roll into a little passage of good material for you guys from Second Timothy in the New Testament of the Bible, and it says, "You then, my son," and this is Paul, a guy named Paul, writing his protege Timothy, and Timothy's a pastor. Paul's an older pastor, and Paul's in jail, and so Paul's persecuted as a Christian. Back in those days, Rome persecuted Christians, and they had an emperor called Nero who was quite the charmer, if you will, and he did some gnarly things to people that simply believed that Jesus was God's Messiah. Okay, God's anointed one. That's what Messiah means. And so Paul's writing Timothy, and he says, "You, my son, be strong in grace that is in Christ Jesus." One of the things we get from the life of Jesus is a lot of grace. Grace carries with it the idea of beauty. It carries the idea of um, it was a greeting in the Roman culture. So when they greeted one another, they would say "grace to you," which always brought the idea of course, peace and prosperity with it. Um, but when they saw something beautiful, they would even use that term. Like I said, it meant beauty, like grace. That's graceful. And you might have heard that as well. When someone skates, they skate very graceful. And then sometimes people don't skate so graceful, right? And it says that be strong in the grace that's in Christ. And Jesus had a lot of beauty in him, the way he acted towards people. The way he treated others was very beautiful in so many ways. So when someone was going through, when someone was caught in, say, sexual sin, um, Jesus had amazing love towards them. And it's not that he wanted them to walk in that lifestyle, knowing that it was going to cause a destruction in their life. But the way he went about things was quite beautiful. And he tells Timothy to be strong in that grace, in that way, in that beauty. And so it's always great to read about Jesus and understand why we'd admire the guy so much, right? And, blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are the meek, right? Blessed are those that are merciful on other people. And those things resonate with every generation of human beings because we see such a lack thereof this in our world. Instead of seeing mercy, we see hate, we see violence, we see backbiting, we see greed, we see envy, right? And these things in our hearts, we see this and we go, man, dude, even in ourselves, we go, something's wrong. And that's because we believe ultimately there is a straight, there is the right. Well, Jesus was the right, and he is full of beauty in that way. So it says, be strong in Jesus Christ. And then it says, in the things that you've heard me say in the presence of many people, commit these or entrust these to other people who will be able to tell other people. And so what I love about this section is that this tells us that one of the ways that we grow in our walk with God is by being a conduit. And it's like a conduit, something passes through it, right? That's the idea, is that something hits it on one side and then it comes through. And if you don't do that in life, if you're not passing things on, then you become prideful, stagnant, boastful, right? You might even become controlling. You don't want other people to know your secret, right? You know, out of fear of their progression or their betterment or those kind of things. So you keep things secretive. Well, this says, and the things that you've heard me say about God, about Jesus, about the things of the beauty of grace, teach those to other people. And notice it says that you may entrust, that these people may entrust it to reliable people, faithful people. The idea is that you got to have not only people that mentor you in your life, and we all need that, man. I'm 47, but man, I need people to help me in my life, and they need to mentor me. And then there's people that I need to be mentoring too. I need to be a conduit. I got to have the person who's mentoring, and then I got to have a person who I'm feeding in. And that's why it's important to always look to feeding into other people. Even in your professions, you guys are doing a lot of work with the hospitals or different charities, organizations. And this is what it's trying to do, is it's trying to, of course, they're trying to sell seats, and let's just push that aside right now, right? But what we also know that does is that helps you get out of you, and it helps you develop into a good human being to be able to feed into the life of other people. Now, on a personal note, that's what you want to have going on in your personal life. You want to have that kind of thing happening, So, if I want my wife to have someone that feeds into her, and I want her to feed into other people. I need to have people feeding into me so that I can feed other people as well. I need to be a conduit of goodness, of grace, of the beauty of God, right? And what happens if I don't? What happens if I just the person who receives everything? I'm just the guy who's receiving everything, and I just receive everything, but I don't give out. I just get fat. I just get fat on my knowledge, on everything that I'm learning, but I'm never feeding out into other people. And so, in a spiritual way, the one of the ways that we become spiritually happy is when we're being this conduit. And so you might find yourself kind of agitated, or you might find yourself a little bit depressed or a little bit bummed out. But then just ask yourself a question. Are you feeding into anybody? That might be a convicting question. It might be something where you go, you know what, I'm not. And then you got probably some of the issue, like the answer to the problem. You're really wrapped up in self. And we all get that way, where we just get so wrapped up in ourself that we forget to actually feed into other people. And so that's what this is teaching us, to take that goodness of God that's been on us and been given to us. So many of the good things, the grace of God, the grace of Jesus, man. What I do deserve, He hasn't given me. And then move that into the life of other people. So I know we're all busy. We all have a lot of things going on, but there's only we can work with one person. There's one person that we could think of that maybe, man, could use our time, use a little bit of our attention. And so maybe if we focus a little bit on that, we might get out of our own little bubble of whatever our world is, and the anxieties that can be caused by us just focusing on those things. So it's a good little time, a good little chapel time. Think through those things, especially in such a high stressful moment that we all have been going through. And I wish you guys the best as always. Tell your spouses I said hi, and I hope to see you guys at some point out here in Tucson. We're just going to have to, I guess play it by ear. If you guys know anything, let me know, and that would be cool. I need to obviously send an email to the coach too, and just say hi, see how he's doing. So you guys take care, okay? Thinking about you. Bye bye.